Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Julie's Orchids. Today, we're going to do a quick repotting of this Phragmipedium Schroederea that was gifted to me a while ago from a local orchid member. And I thought I'd show you the process of taking a Phragmipedium from organic media into pumice. So to begin with, I've already had this soaking in some seaweed solution. I like to work with the bark medium when it's a bit wet. It tends to come off the orchid roots a lot easier. Now, I'm not very familiar with this plant. This was gifted to me a month or so ago by an orchid member. And it's an awarded Phragmipedium Schroederea. So I'm happy about that. It's Phragmipedium Schroederea Pop Butler. So we'll go ahead and work on getting this thing out of its pot and get it into its new home. So I'm going to give it a bit of a squeeze. I have no idea what to expect from this plant other than I can see that we've got a little bitty teeny tiny new growth coming. It's not done much since I've gotten it. I can see there's some roots down here in the pot, and I am feeling a bit of resistance as I'm trying to get this to come loose from the pot, but there we go. Well, that doesn't look too entirely bad. We've got some roots going on here. We'll just go ahead and tease this bark media out of here now. I'm smelling this, and it is smelling a bit strong, and yeah, it's smelling a bit strong. So I'm unsure when Rob last repotted this, but I can tell you in this climate with as damp and as moist as slipper orchids like to be kept, I'm really liking the inorganic pumice because this really smells bad. So this bark medium was beyond its date now. I'm going ahead and repotting this because I can see we've got a new growth starting, new roots right here, and the way it was potted up, those roots were never going to make it into the soil. It was sitting a bit too high out of the pot for that. We'll fix that as we get this into its new home. So I am going to put it into my standard pumice semi-hydro setup with the microfiber cleaning cloth. Just trying to coax these roots down here apart a little bit. So far these roots are feeling pretty alive. It's really kind of hard to tell with these kind of plants until you get the roots really rinsed off well. This one here has been exposed to the air, and that part's dead. We've got a little dead one here. So there are some dead ones. And like I said, I'm just going to try to keep separating these out here. This is a big solid clump of mess right in here. So it's just started raining again today. Rained earlier today, and it was really coming down good. I was hoping to film this earlier, but it was raining so hard I thought it would just be impossible for you guys to hear. So I'm actually to the point here with these that I think that this needs to just sort of run underneath the tap water and get some of the dirt and things off of here. I can empty out the tray for now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. And we're back. So we've got that one cleaned up as best as we could. Pulled the little extra sheaths off. And I think we're just in about perfect timing. I can see we've got some roots swelling right through here. Brand new tiny little growth there. And the root system does need a bit of attention. A lot of dead and mushy stuff in here. So I've already pre-sterilized off my scissors, and we're just going to get at cutting all of this bad stuff off. These ones over here aren't looking too shabby. There's a little dead one. Where are you coming from? bunch of dead ones stuck to this live one. There we go. That came off quite nicely. So these look like the oldest roots right in the middle of the plant, and they're all pretty well done. It's nice to see we've got a growing root tip here. Little bits and pieces of dead things here or there. Let's see. You are alive, but you are dead. Yeah, I was debating on this one earlier, and I think we're just going to take it. Well, I think that should just about do it for the roots we're going to take off of this one today. I think the rest of them are looking just fine. I'm going to give it another rinse off, try to get some of this out of there, clean my tray up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, again, this is the biggest bowl that I have. And I've already put a small bottom layer of the larger pumice down to the opening holes. And I've started my microfiber cleaning cloth. So we're just going to let this backfill. So what the plan is to sort of do a mixture of the large and the small pumice. I've got the microfiber cleaning cloth laying back over to where I know where the holes are at while we're filling this up. Bring everything a little bit closer in together. So now I've already got bottom layer with some of the larger pumice. So I'm just going to put some of the smaller pumice on here. And I'm okay with this floating around because not all of it's going to float. Some of it's going to make it down to where I want it, but the part that is floating is going to end up kind of mixing in and around the larger pumice as we fill this pot up. Now I do realize I don't have a bowl big enough for this pot. So we've got that nice little layer bed here. And let's see about where do we want these to go now. It's important to get your height right on these things because if those are exposed to air for too very long, they will die off. And I think this is about a good height for me because I am going to fill it up a little bit past the rim of the pot, but not all the way up past the rim of the pot because this being a slipper orchid, it will kind of lift itself up out of the pot as it grows along, and then I can just add more medium. So I'm just going to put some of the larger pumice in at this stage. Now, I was talking to Sharon Carpenter over at Joyous Orchids earlier today, and she was mentioning getting a turntable, and I think that sounds like a spectacular idea for potting up orchids. So I think I might follow her lead on that one and see about getting a turntable. Okay, I'm just going to move you back where I can see a little bit better. This is getting to be a big, awkward plant. So I've gotten another layer of the larger pumice, so what I'm going to do now is just kind of roll that microfiber around through here. That's about the height I want it. And then again, I'm going to drop in some more of the smaller pumice. And as I mentioned, we're just going to kind of follow around in different layers of large and small pumice. And now again, while there's still some microfiber cleaning cloth to work with, I'm going to come back in with yet another layer of the smaller pumice. I'm just doing this layering to help with sort of the wicking properties of this medium, to help bring some of that water layer from down low up towards the top, to help keep it from, help keep the roots from dying out, because Phragmipedium roots do not like to get exposed to air or get dry. All right, I think that's a nice layer there. I'm just going to push some right on up underneath this plant. We're just going to finish off with the large pumice And then we'll do a top dressing layer of decorative river stones. I am going to get a stake and help prop up and support this plant. Now, ideally, I would have preferred to have kept this plant in the bigger round clear tubs that I've been getting. But unfortunately, Bunnings has been having, well, I'm sure as in everywhere in the world, there's supply chain issues and they've been out for a while. So we're just doing with what we could get. And I don't think this pot looks too bad. Now I am going to put quite a bit of layer of this pumice here because with these slipper orchids, you do not want their new roots exposed to air. So it seems like for these ones, you plant them the media quite high up, where with other orchids you might be, ooh, I'm going to be afraid that we'll get stem rot or something. So you get them almost to that level that you're really afraid you're going to get stem rot. And then you're about right on target to where you need to be. And then you just are very careful when it comes to watering the plant. We almost got it. You want a little bit more right into there. All right, I think that looks good. So I'm going to take it out of the water bath and let it drain, and then we'll give it its nice top dressing of decorative river stones. And first thing off is to put the tag into the back where the holes are at. So that is right there. And I've got one of these, and I'm just going to try and keep this from being quite so floppy. See if I can't get this. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay. Whoops. And again, I'm applying this top layer of decorative river stones to help keep from having a dry top layer. Again, I'm going to stress that slipper orchids do not like their roots exposed to air, and they like to be kept moist at all times. So I have found that doing this, not only does it look nice, but it helps to keep that dry top layer. Now I see that there's a little bit of water getting ready to try to run down into this leaf joint right here. And these just wiped up a little bit. There you have it. Phragmipedium Schroederea Repot. Looks like it's a happy camper now. So what I'm going to do is just pour water all the way around the top of the media, being careful not to get it within here, just to wet the top layer of pumice. Let that drain in the sink, and then we will put it on the floor in the middle of the grow space so it has plenty of good air movement around it, because I think there's a little bit of moisture in the foliage and I don't want to get any rot. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. Do subscribe, and everyone have a happy, lovely day. Cheers.